back here. Actually just got back from lunch. It's kind of late lunch and had to run a couple errands. I was filming me time lapse and just kind of buzzing down the inside of this. I prepped it out a couple days ago, and then we ended up spraying a bunch of that, putting a bunch of self-leveling seam sealer in this. I wanted it to go down in between our layers, and it did work pretty good. On the bottom, I had seen some drips from where I had poured all the way through, so I know that it got down inside there really good. We used it, and that's a two-part seam sealer, and I did that so I could come back and kind of sand it a little bit and just kind of float out some of these bigger overlaps from the bare metal, or from the metal, like this one here is overlapped. This and this, so it's got kind of an edge, but if I seam seal this, at least the bed liner will go over that, and even though it creates an edge, it will be what's the word? Sealed in between the layers, and that's kind of what I'm shooting for, more so than trying to like make those look super smooth like they're not there. I just want it to look nice and even, and then like everything float in and basically kind of seal on the whole top of the floor pan off with our bed liner. So I come back in here. I did do some of this in here wasn't too worried about up in here. I just did that with regular seam sealer, but that has sat for a couple days, so I need to come back with a Scotch-Brite pad and scuff all that. You want to make sure that basically there's no shine, any of this stuff, so I got to come back through and kind of knock a little bit of this stuff down here. Well, I just cleaned it blew it all out real good, and then we're going to start taping. You can kind of see my green tape line across there. I basically come to this edge, and I try to roll over the side of this edge just a little bit, and then I'll leave this here. I didn't break through really, so there's no there, and here there's no reason to put a bunch of bed liner right there. I'll actually tape it off probably like a 1/2 inch in on this roll, because when we get the door seal basically, there's a seal that sits here at about 3/4 of an inch, but there's a back piece that goes in there, it basically clamps on here and it glues. I'm afraid if I have that textured of the bed liner there, that the glue won't stick to the bed liner as good as it will that epoxy, even sanded, because then just a little bit more bite. So, and then you add that much more thickness to everything, and those seals are designed to kind of slide over those two pieces of metal, not those two pieces of metal and a bunch of bed liner. So that's kind of the point of that. And then I'll come back in here and kind of like, I'm probably going to come to about here. He's going to put a rubber mat, and then they're going to run like the garnish moldings that go across here. So it's just a little piece of stainless or something that they screw down, and it just kind of keeps the carpet edge from rolling up. Plus it looks pretty nice. So that's kind of the plan. I'm going to just go ahead and keep scuffing on this. I'm going to get it taped up, and then I'm going to put a sealer on it. I'm trying to figure out if I want to do epoxy or a primer sealer. I think I'm going to do a primer sealer. On the bottom I got away with it because we're still in our top coat period, like basically epoxy. I think you have 72 hours to top coat it, or you have to sand it. And then so we epoxied it and then waited the next day 24 hours or a little bit less, and then sprayed the bed liner, so we had a chemical adhesion versus a mechanical adhesion. Well, I've sanded the top of this down and we've put stuff on top of it, broken through in a couple spots, and then basically epoxy is thinner than it would be on the bottom. So now we're just worried about the mechanical adhesion. So, and I got seam sealer right, so I want to primer all that stuff. I have some black epoxy primer in there, or what was I saying? Primer sealer. So it's going to prime it and seal it, and that will do a mechanical bind to the epoxy that's already there, and then we'll stack our bed liner on top of it, and then that will give us our chemical adhesion. I think that'll be better, and then plus just a little bit more protection for any kind of water or anything that gets in here, if it ever does. So actually we got this epoxy thinner, so that's kind of the plan on that. I'm gonna get this thing taped up, finished, prepped, and hopefully spray some Raptor bed liner on the bottom of this thing.
You could try to play it, but you're never gonna beat me.
Alright, got this thing all taped up, pushed back, got that covered up so I try not to overspray the rotisserie. And then I'm going to put a little primer sealer on all this stuff, just kind of seal it up. There's a little bit of bare metal spots. I went and wax and grease removed it all down. And now I'm just letting my sealer give a little bit of an introduction period. And then I'm going to suit up and we're going to spray a coat of primer sealer on this thing.
Way what I'm doing ain't easy, bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
So we got that all epoxied up. Been sitting for about 40 to 45 minutes. There's about, and then I'm gonna mix up some Raptor. So by the time I get suited up and get that mixed up, it'll probably be right at about an hour. And then for that, we're gonna use our Raptor, what's our black Raptor kit. Kind of went through and just double checked some of these, make sure they're all, everything feels like it's liquid. I've actually had a catalyst for some U-pull primer go bad. It gelled up, so as long as these are not gelled, I have 8 of these, so hopefully I usually put about 5 on, I think on average to 6 of these. So this guy was kind of a goofball and what's a little thicker probably. So I'm going to end up doing all 8 of these on our interior on that, and I'm going to save some. I got some here, half one I've been using for a little bit of touch up, and there's one extra one there if I think I need more. But basically you would pour one of these here into one container. If I remember right, you do 8 ounces, add 8 fluid ounces of hardener into the container of Raptor active coating. Mix hardener and Raptor together and shake well for at least 2 minutes. I just shake the crap out. I usually put a little splash of reducer in there just to kind of help thin it out. Sometimes some of this seems a little, this one I think seems a little chunkier than the plastic bottles. At least when I was doing the bottom of that, because I put 5, a whole kit, I think I put 5 or 6 of these, maybe, I can't remember now. I remember having one extra I thought that was a little thinner for whatever reason. Anyway, to mix this up, I got a little cup here. We'll do 8 ounces and then pour it in there so I get a nice good clean mix on that, and then we'll have, like I said, we got 8 of these. If not, we have about 9 with that other little bit over there. So I'm gonna call that good. I'm gonna suit up and get some Raptor on this floor pan.
For change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test. Expect nothing less, your check as I'm chess, what's happening next?
Alright, so we got that all bed lined, and then I peeled everything off so I can come back and kind of see like this stuff right here. I got a little bit of black that's oversprayed. You just take a little bit of lacquer thinner, especially since my paint's already a few weeks old. Wipe that off there. And just kind of look over my lines here. So I don't try to build it real super heavy, real super thick. There on the edges, personally, I don't think it looks good. Like looking here, and you had like a 1/4 inch sticking out, or 3/16. I have like a real fine line, so I actually don't. Even though I hammer like in through here really heavy, and especially on the floors. I kind of lay off a little bit here, and then obviously right in here. I just don't like a big edge. I think it looks kind of ugly. This looks a little more just kind of fine and detailed. My own personal opinion, and I'm the one doing it. So, although I don't know if this guy really knows what he wants, he was talking about doing something else, but I never used that product, so I was pretty familiar with. See, like right here, you get a little bit of hairs when you pull that back. So the trick is to, like, say your tape. You're peeling your tape like this way, you know, you're peeling off. You want to come back, do about a 45, and it's close to 180. Really trying to get, when you pull that tape off, it's actually just kind of like almost cutting the bed liner away. Let me grab my lacquer thinner real quick, get that before it dries. It cuts through the bed liner quick, but you gotta be careful not to do it too much because it will eat into the clear a little bit because it's so aggressive. So wipe a little bit and then roll your rag around to a fresh, clean, wet spot, and then wipe it and then roll your rag around. Don't keep pushing the blackness, you know, like the bed liner that's in here, that's on your rag, pushing it because it will soften, the lacquer thinner will soften the paint, and then pretty soon it'll absorb. So you gotta be real careful, but it's good to jump on it kind of quick and just get the, just kind of detail the overspray out, you know, the spots that you're trying to fix out. I'm just looking this thing over. We had it taped in every different direction. This stuff I won't worry about till tomorrow, but I just want to make sure that we don't have any goofy, big long strings or big chunks of black bed liner stuck in there, kind of like an overspray spot. So I'm gonna leave that just like it is. I just sort of think I just peel it, throw it on the ground, get that thing up, and let it flash. So it's about 6:30. I'm gonna let this thing air out for a minute, but I'm gonna call the video done here. If you like this type of stuff, give me a like, a subscribe. Comment below with any kind of questions or comments or hate or whatever you guys are into, And we'll see you on the next one. And don't forget to get out there and create something, even if it sucks. Peace. See you on the next one.
You deceive me, muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.